The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 762. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She's a singer-songwriter, an activist, and she also survived a traumatic brain injury. So I'm really excited to have her on today to share her story. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Tobey Kai. Tobey, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more by yourself to the listeners.
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for having me. As you've said, I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm a Canadian musician, and I was also a biologist. I'm a activist in environmentalism as well as a spokesperson for Alzheimer's awareness and dementia. Recently, I was in an accident that left me immediately paralyzed neck down. So that was about 18 months ago. My background, I'm actually Chinese, but I was raised in Canada for the most part in Vancouver, and I now reside in Calgary, Alberta.
Thanks for sharing that. And, it's great that you're here today sharing your story, especially what you've been through. I mean, going through a traumatic incident like that can be like a big downer, but you're here today sharing that story today. So thanks for coming on again. And Tobey, what's your favorite self-confidence quote?
I don't have just one, but I do believe that to be more confident is about as useful as telling someone to stop being depressed. So they say, make your own confidence, and confidence comes from the things that you do. And when I say they, I mean my parents. So they've always taught me that you can't be more confident just sitting there and willing yourself to feel that way. It comes from putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, trying new things, and being uncomfortable, but more or less building that confidence through actions.
Thanks for sharing that. And that's a great quote that you mentioned. Yeah, I mean, the secret to confidence is taking action, regardless how scared we get or nervous or like butterflies in our stomach. The more action we take, the more confident we can become. So thanks for sharing that great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
The definition of self-confidence to me is understanding truly who you are and being able to express that and be able to do that through your actions. It's the ability to not be hindered, to not be filtered, in my opinion.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And Tobey, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I wasn't true to myself or to anyone else, and I think I spent most of that time lying to myself and indirectly to everyone around me about who I was. I really wasn't a reflection of everyone around me at that time. I was very stressed. I was very anxious. There was a lot of pressure to be somebody that I thought I needed to be in order to impress the people around me. And that to me was the measurement, the ultimate measurement of my success, of who I was. And, that really was the bar that was set. And it bothered me a lot every day how the people around me saw me, how the media would portray me, how my actions would be interpreted. Does this put me in a good light, in a negative light, in a positive light? Is everything that I say going to impress my parents, for example? That's what I worried about the most. And I think that the only thing that helped me break out of this was truly to stop caring about those things. And, my success came with it. So the day that I really stopped, truly giving a crap about everything around me is the day that I found my true voice and through my music became more authentic, and everything just took off after that.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's something we all go through, right? Especially the pleasing. Like we feel like we always have to please everybody and try to be somebody else when we can just be our true selves. And, the more that we can realize that and share it with other people, the more they can realize it in themselves as well, and not be trapped trying to be somebody else. And what was that point in your life when you can go out there and be who you are today, especially like going through a traumatic brain injury? Like what was that aha moment?
I think I had a few. So I think finding my confidence was a multi-layered process. My first moment was ultimately when I'd hit rock bottom. So I'll describe it for you. I had a failed relationship, I had a failed career, and I was halfway across the world in the States. And I didn't have a pet. I was sitting in a car that wouldn't run with all of my belongings and a shopping bag in the back seat. And I wondered, what on earth am I going to do now? If I go home and I tell my parents how much I failed, I'd rather die. That's really how I felt at the time. But yeah, I looked up at the stars that night and I thought, it's beautiful. I have nowhere to go. I have no deadlines. I have everywhere in the world to be. But I don't care anymore. I have nothing to lose. I have absolutely nothing to lose. So every single choice, every decision I make from this point onward is a conscious decision. It's something that there's just no rules, And I think my second aha moment was when I was recovering from my brain injury, because I really should have died. And there I was, breathing on the other side, and I thought of as borrowed time. I'm not going to waste that pleasing anyone else but me. So in a way, I think I might have another one. But with every moment, it's like I peel off another layer of that shell that I've carefully put on,
Thanks for sharing that. And it's crazy what happens sometimes. We find our greatest moments when we hit rock bottom, right? It's like we're at the bottom of the bottom. There's nowhere else to go but up. And especially recovering from a brain injury, like most people would just quit life, right? But here you are today sharing your story, still doing what you're doing what you love, and showing others what's possible. And because of those realizations, what's your life been like now?
It's a lot more fulfilling. I can do a lot less. There's a lot of things that follow a traumatic brain injury of that magnitude. And yeah, I think, as you've noticed, it's hard for me to find my words to sometimes be as eloquent as I used to be, or to even form full sentences, really. But I think that I'm more peaceful inside my head, for sure. But yeah, just like you said, when you hit those rock bottoms and when you hit those walls and you realize just how much more you had to lose than you were previously worried about. You were worried about losing your job, you were worried about how people see you, or the next step to your success. And here I was, just clinging to my next breath, and that me is everything at the time. And from there, you just see the world in such a more organic way, I guess. You see the beauty in the little things, and you feel like everything is borrowed time. You don't take the next 10 seconds for granted. So I think that in a way that has added to my inner peace now that I realize that, I should have been gone. So, and we could all be where I was in the blink of an eye. So I've really taken an appreciation to all the smaller things that I used to overlook.
Thanks for sharing that. And, to be honest, it doesn't even sound like you went through a traumatic brain injury. Like, for me, you still speak very well. And yeah, it just shows like anything is truly possible, no matter what outcomes we have, setbacks, roadblocks, accidents. Like, if we have the confidence to keep on going, we will. And that I think that's the greatest thing is we have the ability and believing ourselves that we can go out there and do it. And I'm just glad you're here today to share that story. And to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you'd give to her?
I think the most important thing for every woman to know is that they're enough. That's the most important thing, is that everything that you are right now, everything that you've done is enough. No woman should ever feel like they're not good enough, because they're not being measured by anyone else, and anyone that does measure them does not matter. And it's okay to fail, it's okay to fall, and to let yourself get hurt, because getting back up from those things is how you build your armor, is how you get stronger, is how you get wiser. All of those things contribute to your self-confidence, and that it's a journey. There's no destination to the end of this. You're always going to be more confident somewhere down the road, right? Yeah, I think those things are important. I wish someone would have said that to me when I was younger.
Thanks for sharing that. And I totally agree. I wish someone said that when I was younger too. But we're here today sharing it to other people who are feeling who's struggling, realizing that they're also just enough to be who they are and go out there and live their dream life. So thanks for sharing those great tips. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do and check out some of your music, is there any links or social media profiles that we can connect with?
Yes, absolutely. Everything's going to be under Tobey Kai. I've got Instagram. I think Instagram is probably the most commonly used site that I'm on, but you can also check me out through One Ocean Global for environmental awareness, and my music is on Spotify. I also do have a website as well.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Tobey, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Tobey's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Tobey today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Tobey.
Thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show today. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out cool resources, blog articles, show recaps, and so much more. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.